Good morning. Welcome to Sunday's Early Morning Intuitive Guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, here with some words of wisdom for your day. Hope you're off to a good start on this fine Sunday. Still way dark out there. Way dark. I'm one of those people that I would prefer it is light in the morning, and it can get dark anytime after 3 o'clock. Thanks, that works for me. But I know there are the owls of the world who prefer it the other direction. So, yeah, dark. How's your Sunday treating you? How's it going so far? For most of us, we're probably only an hour or two into the day, but you can kind of get a sense of how it's going, right? So let us start, as always, with the breath. So in through the nose, out through the mouth. Just bringing your focus to right here, right now. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Releasing any thoughts that are kind of niggling at the back of your mind, just letting it all go. You can afford yourself a couple of minutes just for you today. In through the nose, out through the mouth, feeling the shoulders drop. Just wiggling a little bit, shake off the night. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Good morning, Carolyn. You're the first one here today. Glad you're here. Awesome, awesome. I think some of our peeps are sleeping in today. So, Practical Rebels, if you're out there and you want to jump on, feel free. Oh, now my counter goes to 1. There we go. Oh, now it popped to 2. We'll see who else. Cindy. Good morning, Cindy. Welcome, welcome. Happy Sunday. So today I was trying to figure out which card deck we were going to be using, and I muscle tested all 3 rows of card decks. Nada. So then I thought, good morning, Ruth Ann. Welcome, welcome. I thought maybe it was going to be one of the books that we oftentimes pop into. Nope, nothing. I'm like, Then it kind of dawned on me, maybe it's something on my desk. So my eyes went to this quote first. And so this is today's, it always seems impossible until it's done. Nelson Mandela. So what I want to say about this is mindset. This is mindset right here. This is our perception of things. And when we have a perception of, I can't do this, or this is too big, this is too much, whatever, it's going to impact the choices we make regarding what to do, what steps of action to take. In other words, we're probably less likely to take action steps when we believe, I can't. So, first place to start with this process is, I can. I'll get there somehow. I don't know or care how long it's going to take. If this is an outcome that I'm aiming for, I want this thing, I'm just going to keep picking away at it until I get there. So that takes the mindset of, there's more than enough time. There's more than enough time for me to accomplish whatever this is. There's a great book. Let me see if I can think of the name. Time Shifting. I can't remember what the author's name is. But the whole gist of it is, time is a man-made construct. We've created this thing, and if we look at it, it's kind of interesting. Yes, there's the passage of time. Good morning, Beth. And ancient peoples measured the passing of time differently than we do. They might measure day and night, but they aren't... I might be coming on a few minutes earlier simply because once I've set it up and I turn my phone, it no longer shows me the clock. So I'm just kind of winging it in terms of exactly when we're getting on. And sometimes I'm late, actually. So there were 2 times recently I'm late. Can you tell the German in me? Yeah. So anyway, back to time. When we're willing to adjust our perception of time and the passage of time, it makes a huge difference in terms of our outcomes. So if you want to do goals, outcomes equal goals, that's fine, up to you. I've stepped away from the word goal because I have self-flagellated with that word for 50 years, so I'd rather not go there anymore. So I like looking at outcomes. And I also, when I'm coaching somebody, good morning, Barb, glad you're here. When I'm coaching somebody, we focus on action steps. Action steps, not homework necessarily, action steps. What are you going to do? What are you willing to do? What do you feel is reasonable for you to do between this session we're currently on and the next one that's coming up? Sometimes it's a week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever. Good morning, good morning. Glad you're back. Glad you're back. So, one of the things that I do with coaching clients is we'll set up what they'd like to get accomplished in 90 days. Why 90 days? Because 3 months is enough time that they can see progress. It's enough time for there to be, good morning, Jonelle, a reasonable sized outcome to aim for. But it's not so much that it feels overwhelming. If you have your, good morning, Mel, glad you're here. If you have your 5-year goal, for some people it's like, that's way too far down the road. We need earlier things. Good morning, Janine. And most of us have walked through that process of taking a long-term goal. I'm just going to pick one. I want my house paid off in 10 years instead of 30 years. Cool. So then you start backing it up. Okay, so if 10 years from now I want my house paid off, what do I need to do every year? Then what do I need to do every month? Hello, Linda. Glad you are here. Welcome, welcome. I know it's the end of your day instead of the beginning of your day. Is it dark yet by you? It's certainly dark here. So you back it up. And if I'm going to have my home loan paid off in 10 years instead of 30 years, what do I need to do differently? How much extra do I need to be throwing at this thing every month to make it be gone in that amount of time? We are glad you are here, Mel. We are very glad you are here. Wouldn't be the same without you. All of you wouldn't be the same without you. Think about that. You are one of those human beings. It's dark. Yep. We got a lot of darkness in this world right now, both literally and metaphorically. And that's okay. Don't panic about the darkness we're experiencing metaphorically. It's part of the flow. It's part of the process. We're on the cusp of coming up. 2025, I think, is going to be an amazing year in terms of beginning to see the light dawn. So let's see. And let's go back to this. It always seems impossible until it's done. Nelson Mandela would know a few things about that, wouldn't he? Always seems impossible until it's done. So, how do we get it done? Again, one of the things that I work with for people, because oftentimes we hit resistance, don't we? And we may have no idea why we even have resistance. So I'll tell you one that I have every single day is resistance to writing. Why do I think that is? I think because it was so arduous doing a baccalaureate thesis, a master's thesis, a doctoral dissertation. It was arduous. It was not fun. And when you force yourself, that's what I knew how to do at that point in time, force yourself to write all the time, to get these bloody things done and get the little rubber stamp of approval and get the letters after your name. Now, at this point in my life, there's a part of me that goes, right? Oh, hell no. Ain't doing that. I've been there, done that. It sucked. I don't want to do it anymore. So working on my mindset every day around this. And I love Julia Cameron's stuff. If you haven't read The Artist's Way, even if you don't feel like you're an artist or you don't like to write, read the book just for the mindset shifts it can create. It's an awesome, beautiful book. So, but her gist is every morning, 3 pages longhand. Every morning, 3 pages longhand. Every morning, 3 pages longhand. And what that does is it creates a routine. It creates a habit. And when you violate your habit, so let's say once in the year she doesn't write her 3 pages, she's going to feel that difference, right? And when you tell yourself 3 pages, I can do anything, 3 pages. I can go on and on about what I ate yesterday for 3 pages, right? It's a very accomplishable thing. So that's what I tell my clients when there's something like this. If it's a big daunting thing, I'm going to, I want to get to my ideal weight. I want to get fit. I want to get a raise. I want to small steps, ridiculously small. Oftentimes I will say ridiculously achievable. So let's pick something that's ridiculously achievable. And what I suggest to people that I'm working with is, and once we get off the call, go ahead and do it right away. You're done, it's out of the way. What often happens is you have a couple kinds of people. One group of people will still blow it off until the day before their session or the morning of their session, and then they do it because they know they have to report back to me. I don't care when it gets done. It's done. Yay! Next. Some people will do it immediately after we get off the call, and then they'll think, okay, so if that little piece is done, what might be the next little piece? And by the time I talk to them, let's say it's 2 weeks later, they've got maybe 4 or 5 steps, small incremental steps on their way to whatever this outcome is that they want accomplished. And then that begins, they're like all excited to be able to tell me what they've accomplished. It always seems impossible until it's done. Again, perspective, perspective, perspective. We look at something, we look at that distant goal, and we go, see, Cindy already labeled one here, that outcome has to be perfect. It has to be just the way I'm envisioning it. What if instead of feeling like I have to be the engineer that creates this thing that's perfect 5 years down the road, what if we said, I get to be a co-creator with God, with the universe, for this thing that looks like it's going to be 5 years down the road. Let's see what happens. I wonder how this will turn out. Oftentimes it happens much quicker. Oftentimes it happens more eloquently, more simply, more in flow. So mindset, mindset, mindset. It is such a huge piece. And don't try to pull the wool over your own eyes. You know, if you know, so like for Cindy, her hang up is it has to be perfect. Find a way to work with that. Find a way to work with that. So it could be, let's just do an experiment. Let's just throw the words on the page. Let's try something different. This is just an experiment. If it turns out horribly, it doesn't matter anyway because it's just an experiment. Work with yourself to find a way to proceed anyway. Proceed anyway. If it's the handwritten stuff and you feel like you're still caught in grade school and your handwriting has to be perfect, write with the other hand. Is it arduous? Laborious? You betcha. It's difficult to write with the non-dominant hand, but it gets you past that hump of it has to be perfect. Think about that. What's likely to happen? You start writing, it's a mess because you're not that handed. Eventually your brain says, just put it in the other hand. But the page is already a mess, so it doesn't really matter. You already messed it up, so just keep going. Now you can do it with the other hand as messy as you want, and it's still going to look nicer than the part that you did with the non-dominant hand. There's always a way. I want you to think about it this way. There's always a way to work around our hang-ups. I don't like pushing up against them because when you push up against something, you get resistance. Find a way to just work around it. Work around it. It could be you say, I'm going to write this and then I'm going to burn it. Or I'm going to write this and I'm not going to show anybody. Or however you want to work with it so that it actually can happen. With the things that you want to accomplish. Let's say it's a debt you've had for, let's just pick credit card debt because there's a whole lot of folks who have that. I want to pay this off. I want to get to the point where every month I can pay my balances and there's no longer money hemorrhaging in interest. So you might be the kind of person who doesn't want to tell anybody that's what you're doing. Just go about your business and do it. If that works best for you, do it. If, on the other hand, there you go. Yes, absolutely. That is a wonderful trick, Linda. Ask yourself the question with your dominant hand. Answer with your non-dominant hand. You'll be amazed at what comes out. It's usually tapping the child part of yourself. And you'll get all kinds of things. So it could be, why do I not want to do this? the answer. And it could be I can't do it perfectly. I don't know how. I don't know what step to take. Someone's going to be mad at me. All the stuff that a kid would think, right? But it pops out of your non-dominant hand. Then you can do something with it. Then you can do something with it. So nurture that child. Parent that inner child. Oh, honey, let's find a way to address that fear that you have so that we can keep going with this anyway. Let me show you. This will be okay. This will be okay. All right? Incremental steps. Many of us feel like we don't have enough time to get that stuff done. Stop thinking in linear time. Okay? So I've told this story before. I'm going to tell it again. I had a friend who's a chiropractor. His wife was a nurse. They had a mountain of student loan debt. They made a 5-year plan to get out of debt. They began executing that plan a step at a time. 18 months later, they were out of student loan debt. Why? Because the universe saw they're working at this. They're working at this diligently. Gave them more opportunities. Stuff comes your way. So I'm working with someone right now who we had worked her out of debt pretty much. She fell back in. She made the fatal error of stepping on the slippery slope again, and now we're digging it out again. But the thing is, what she learned the first time was exactly what I was just talking about. The universe provided all these extras to pay down debt when it saw that she was serious in doing this goal. Now, second time around, she says, yeah, but those opportunities aren't going to come again. First of all, she didn't know those opportunities were going to come around the first time, did she? And this time around, she has no idea what opportunities might present themselves instead. Stop making the assumption nothing's going to work. Start making the assumption somehow this is going to work out. If you are a journaler, one of the things that's interesting to do is go back through your journaling and see how many conundrums there were in your life. Oh, this, and what am I going to do about that, and how's this going to work? And then from this position, looking back, you're going to go, I didn't even remember I had that problem. I didn't even remember that happened. This is a part of life, people. This is just a part of life. We bump into seeming obstacles. Cue the next card. Expansive consciousness dissolves obstacles. So when we bump into something, rather than viewing it as a terrible, horrible, awful thing, this is just par for the course. These things pop up. Navigate it. Figure out. We need t-shirts like that. Navigate it. Make it happen, right? Baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. And as with, I'm going to go back to the jewelry example. My friend's son, who's the jeweler, that when someone brings in a whole wad of necklace chains that are all wound together, he lays it on a towel and he doesn't just jump in and start picking away. He observes it. Kind of I wonder how this is going to work out. Then he starts rolling his finger on something. Then he rolls his finger somewhere else. Eventually something loosens up and opens up. It's that planful way of approaching things. And as he's rolling, does he have an exact idea of how it's all going to unfold? Absolutely not. But he's working on a piece. He's working a piece. All right? So that's what we do. Always seems impossible until it's done. Start somewhere. One little step. Even if that little step doesn't produce results like you think, it may open another door that does. So, nothing is impossible. Nothing is out of reach. Baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. So today, I would like you to pick something that you've looked at, you've desired, you've thought, oh, that would be great. I want a new car. I want to write a book. I want to get to my ideal weight. I want to eat better, whatever it is. And I want you to think of one tiny baby step that you can do today. So let's say you want to eat better. It might be going on Pinterest and looking up a couple of recipes. It might be then putting the ingredients you don't have on your grocery list. It might be then buying those ingredients when you're at the grocery store. You get the gist, right? Little, very accomplishable steps to get yourself to this outcome. Will it take some time? Yes. A month from now, you won't be in the same place you are now. 3 months from now, you won't be in the same place you were at a month. It just keeps going. But if you don't start, here's where you are. So, love you to pick out one little step. If you want to put it in our feed, that would be fabulous. Eating better, home cooking. There we go. There we go. So she set her intention. Now she can pick a step. It might be doing the grocery list. It might be looking through the recipes. What haven't I made in a while? What am I hungry for? Blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is, those baby steps that are going to get her to this goal. All right? Same for you. What's a baby step? Put it in the feed. Put it in the feed. What's a baby step? Yesterday, my baby step was I've got gardening out front. I just dealt with the irises. That's all I dealt with. There's other stuff that'll need to be addressed. Just the irises. That was enough. Done. Yay. So, you did some shadow work yesterday. Fabulous. Fabulous. Baby steps. Now this opens other doors. Let's see what comes next, right? Awesome. Yay, you. Cool. All right. So have an awesome Sunday. I will see you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.